Mikel Arteta's new tactical changes are genius. Changes to their approach to games, how they're seeing out games, and more importantly, their results have been near on perfect in 2024. They have not trailed an away game in their last 10 away games, to my knowledge. They are keeping clean sheets at a ridiculous rate. And that is all due to Mikel Arteta's tactical changes in games, his substitutions, and how they're approaching these away games. They've actually got a better record away from home than they do at the Emirates, which is absolutely phenomenal because the Emirates is renowned for a very tough place to go. We're going to break it down. We are less than 20 subscribers off of 23,000. So if you could do me a favor, go down, hit that like button, and hit that subscribe button. Let's try to push to 25,000 subscribers. We will be reacting tonight, of course, to Atalanta versus Arsenal, and then looking forward to the Premier League on the weekend. Huge games coming up, West Ham versus Chelsea, etc. Now, Mikel Arteta, this season, 4 games, 3 wins, 1 draw. Their away form so far has been very, very, very good in the Premier League. And this isn't a new thing. So far, they have beaten Aston Villa at Villa Park, Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You think back to last season, they were undefeated against the Big Six, and he is making these changes, which I believe now he has a kind of a Jose Mourinho approach to certain games. And I believe he takes that approach into the Manchester City game on Sunday. And what that approach is have an excellent game plan. And their game plan against Tottenham was to sit back, have no space in the wide areas. Brennan Johnson only got the better of Urian Timber twice. And Ben White at times was struggling against Heung-min Son, but I don't think he got cooked. Arsenal are very, very strong from set pieces, and they've utilised that a lot. 18 goals, I think they've got from corners since the start of last season, which is a phenomenal record. They got that down to a T. The Aston Villa game. Aston Villa have got a lot of good players. Ollie Watkins, Rodgers, very, very powerful runner. They come back from that Aston Villa game with 3 points, 2 goals, and a clean sheet. But it's the way they're approaching games now. They're so hard to beat. They're turning up to your stadium. They're coming away with 3 points, clean sheet, without 2 of their best players. I'm still annoyed at that Arsenal result. And yesterday, if Tottenham would have lost, I'd have been even more annoyed. But thankfully, Brennan Johnson bowed us out. Arteta's game plan, I think, tonight against Atalanta, I think they'll win 2-0. And then I think they can get a result against Manchester City. If you play the way Inter Milan did, City are beatable. Inter Milan had good chances that game. Let's not forget, Man City did have 3 or 4 really big clear-cut chances, but they weren't able to take them. And these games are coming down to fine margins. Now, the bad news for Mikel Arteta is with regards to Martin Odegaard. He will be out for a long period of time. It's supposed to be a month. It's supposed to be 3 or 4 weeks. Other people are saying he might not play till Christmas. There's a lot of news going around with regards to him. I personally believe he will be back around mid-October. Now, they've got a hell of a talent in Ethan Nwaneri. Now, replacing that off-ball work for Martin Odegaard is going to be a huge, huge, huge question. Can he do that? Does he have it in his locker to do that off-the-ball work? I think on the ball, he's got all the ability in the world, and he's got a huge amount of potential. Good ball control, can drop the shoulder, can beat his man, can score, can create. If you can replicate that off-the-ball work with regards to what Martin Odegaard does, because I think last season, in terms of an attacking midfielder, he won the ball back something like 44 times and created abundance of chances. And was involved in a lot of goals. If you can replicate that off-the-ball work, when you look at Arsenal's fixtures they've got coming up, they may just be okay without him. It's a huge ask for Nwaneri because he's only 17 or 18. They've got some tough matches coming up. They've got Manchester City and Atalanta. Other than that, by the time Odegaard comes back, I think they've got more than enough to beat Leicester, to beat Southampton, and to beat Bournemouth. PSG will, of course, be a huge test. You know, they won last night against Girona. I believe it was an own goal. But you look at these fixtures they've got coming up. You look at Atalanta. If they go with this kind of Jose Mourinho style of football where they're incredibly hard to beat and they're taking their chances and they're coming away with clean sheets, goal difference is going to be so important in this Champions League run. We saw Bayern Munich have already come out with scoring 9 goals and they already have 7 goal difference. Aston Villa have 3 goal difference. Goal difference could be the difference between you qualifying for the last 16 or having to go through the playoffs. Now, I think they have what it takes to get past Atalanta and beat them relatively convincingly. With regards to Bolton, I think they could make 10 changes and still beat Bolton. Leicester and Southampton at the Emirates, I think they will beat both of them, and I think they beat Bournemouth away. How they get on against PSG, Luis Enrique is a very good coach. I still think they can get a positive result. If they can get a win tonight and then a positive result against Manchester City, I think every Arsenal fan out there would bite your hand off. But imagine what it would be like if Arsenal go to the Etihad and come back with a clean sheet and 3 points. The mentality boost that would give Arsenal fans and Arsenal players to go through this run of games, to not have a defeat, to win the majority of your games, to keep getting clean sheets, to keep getting the right results. You are up against a hell of a team in Manchester City Arsenal. They are one of the greatest footballing sides I have ever seen. But even with these injuries, even with results going against them, even when them not being at their best collectively, you know, they're not smashing teams to bits, but that defense is so strong. And they've got a lot of match winners. They've got Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka in there, Odegaard when he comes back, you know, Trossard. They're only 2 points away. You know, they're a point above Liverpool. They're a point above Villa. They're 2 points off City. If they can get the right result at Manchester City, for me, that is a huge mentality boost from an Arsenal perspective. If Manchester City win that game, then who knows? But as of right now, I think, considering the injuries they've got and considering they had no Declan Rice against Spurs and Mikel Merino is out until October, when that midfield is fully fit, they are a very, very strong side. Very, very strong side. I made a video yesterday saying that Victor Gyökeres is the answer, and I personally believe that. I think he would be the game changer for Arsenal. Genuinely believe that. If you put him in this side, Arsenal go and they absolutely dominate. They dominate. His goals, his assists, his on the ball work, his off the ball work, his hold up play, his record speaks for itself. It's absolutely relentless. Now, these next 3 or 4 days, from an Arsenal perspective, are absolutely huge. I think they go out. I think they get the right result tonight. I think they get another clean sheet. And I think they get off to a winning start in the Champions League. And then for them, it's all about how they get on against Manchester City, because that is the game. That is the game. How do Manchester City get on after drawing at home against Inter Milan? And Inter Milan had chances. Inter Milan rocked up to the Etihad and had 13 shots. You know, Manchester City, of course, had 22, but they only both had 5 and 4 shots on target. Man City played their strongest side. But they once again, they changed it up to a 3-2-4-1, you know? And the areas that Rodri and Rico Lewis operate in, I think that's something Arsenal may struggle with. But so far, every question that's gone towards Mikel Arteta, he has answered it with flying colours. Now, tonight, going to be a tough test for them. It really is. I think they have more than what it takes to get 3 points tonight in the Champions League and get a good result against Manchester City. But so far, every single question that Mikel Arteta has faced, like I said, he has overcome. And now it's about proving some of the doubters wrong and going out there and getting the right result. For me, I think they are one hell of a side. I think so far, Mikel Arteta has got a lot of things right. He probably needs a couple of signings in January if they want to really push on on all fronts. I think they'll win. And Manchester City, I'm not so sure. Do they bring in Wanyeri tonight? Do they bring in Raheem Sterling tonight? Does Leandro Trossard start? He has maybe got a bit of a selection headache on his hands. And I think he will obviously choose what he thinks is the best side. But he definitely will have one eye on that City game. Do you rest Bukayo Saka? Do you rest Declan Rice? You know, obviously City played at the Etihad last night. Arsenal have got that travel coming their way. There's a lot of, he almost has a bit of a selection headache because all he'll be thinking about is getting the right result against Manchester City, as well as getting the result tonight. And you're going to have two things on your head. You focus on the task at hand and then go for City afterwards. It's going to be a fascinating 3 or 4 days from an Arsenal perspective. We are going to be covering the Premier League all weekend. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you have subscribed. I'm out.